The tale of Gladiator begins in the cold, misty fields of Germania, where the Roman legions stand ready for war. The air is thick with smoke and tension as General Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the Roman army, surveys the enemy lines. He is a man of discipline, strength, and quiet authority, respected by his men and trusted by Emperor Marcus Aurelius himself. The emperor, old and weary, wishes for this to be his last campaign, the war that will finally bring peace to the empire. Maximus gives a speech to his soldiers, reminding them that what they do in life echoes in eternity, and then leads them into a brutal and fiery battle. The Romans crush the barbarian forces, securing victory once again for Rome. After the triumph, Maximus walks through the blood-soaked fields, saddened by the cost of war. He longs to return home to his wife and young son on his farm in Spain. Marcus Aurelius summons him to his tent, where he confides his deepest thoughts. The emperor admits that his time is coming to an end and that his son Commodus is unfit to rule. He tells Maximus that he wants him to become the protector of Rome, to oversee the transition of power back to the Senate and restore the Republic. Maximus is stunned and reluctant, his only wish is to return home. But Marcus Aurelius insists that Rome needs a man of virtue, not a man of ambition. Meanwhile, Commodus arrives at the Roman camp, full of excitement and vanity, expecting to be named emperor. When Marcus Aurelius reveals his true intentions, Commodus is devastated. In a tearful yet sinister embrace, he kills his father, smothering him while whispering that his love wasn't enough. He claims the throne, announcing that Marcus Aurelius died in his sleep. Commodus demands loyalty from Maximus, but the general refuses, sensing the truth. Commodus orders Maximus's execution and sends soldiers to kill his wife and son. Maximus is taken to the woods, bound and prepared for death, but his soldiers' instincts allow him to fight free. He kills his captors and rides desperately toward his home. Days later, exhausted and wounded, he arrives only to find his farm destroyed, his wife and son brutally murdered, their bodies crucified and burned. The sight shatters him. He collapses to the ground, clutching the earth where their ashes rest, his tears mixing with the dust. He no longer cares to live. Slave traders find him barely conscious and take him away in chains. He is sold in North Africa to Proximo, an ex-gladiator who won his freedom under Marcus Aurelius. Proximo runs a school of fighters, training slaves to battle in the arenas. He sees something unusual in Maximus, a silent, fierce spirit that refuses to break. At first, Maximus resists fighting, filled with grief and rage. But survival forces him to act, and his skill as a warrior quickly becomes undeniable. He fights strategically, never for show but for purpose, killing with precision and calm. The crowd begins to notice him, chanting for the Spaniard, the name he's given because of his origins. Proximo, impressed, tells Maximus that if he can win the hearts of the people, he can win his freedom. As Maximus's reputation grows, word reaches Rome that Commodus plans to celebrate his rule with 150 days of games in the Colosseum. He believes that through blood and spectacle he can earn the love of the people. The Senate, however, sees through his manipulation. Among them is Senator Gracchus, who despises Commodus's tyranny, and Lucilla, Commodus's sister, who secretly fears and despises her brother. She has a young son, Lucius, whom Commodus adores but also manipulates as a tool to control her. Lucilla once loved Maximus, and when she hears rumors of a mysterious gladiator rising to fame, she senses it might be him. Proximo and his fighters are summoned to Rome to perform in the Great Colosseum. For Maximus, the city he once served now represents everything he has lost. But he goes willingly, seeing in the Colosseum both a chance for vengeance and a way to fulfill the dying wish of Marcus Aurelius. When the gladiators are thrown into their first grand match, they are outnumbered and surrounded. Maximus quickly takes command, organizing them like a seasoned general. Against impossible odds, they win. The crowd erupts with joy. Commodus, watching from his throne, is intrigued by the masked gladiator who leads so fearlessly. After the fight, Commodus enters the arena to meet this mysterious warrior. He demands that the man remove his helmet and tell him his name. Slowly, Maximus turns, pulls off his helmet, and declares his identity before all of Rome. My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the north, general of the Felix legions, loyal servant to the true emperor, Marcus Aurelius. father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife. And I will have my vengeance, in this life or the next. The crowd goes silent, and then cheers explode through the Colosseum. Commodus, humiliated, cannot execute him without turning the people against him, so he spares Maximus, vowing to destroy him another way. Lucilla meets Maximus in secret, confirming what he already knows, her father's murder. They share painful memories and lost affection. She introduces him to Senator Gracchus and others plotting to restore the Republic. Maximus agrees to help, planning to escape Rome and rally his old soldiers to march on the city once Commodus is overthrown. But Commodus grows more suspicious and erratic. He watches his sister and the Senate closely. He dreams of being a god, adored by all, but the people's love for Maximus infuriates him. When he realizes Lucilla's betrayal, he threatens her and her son, forcing her into silence. He tightens his grip on Rome, turning every ally into a spy. The plan to free Maximus falls apart when Commodus's men discover the conspiracy. Proximo and his gladiators fight valiantly to protect him, but they are overwhelmed. Proximo dies fighting, buying Maximus a chance to flee. Before dying, he reminds Maximus to win his freedom and honor Marcus Aurelius's vision. Maximus is captured once more. Commodus, now desperate to prove his dominance, arranges a final duel with him in the Colosseum. Before the fight, Commodus meets Maximus privately and stabs him in the side, concealing the wound under his armor. He enters the arena, smug and confident, knowing his opponent is already dying. The two face each other before thousands of roaring spectators. Despite his injury, Maximus fights with every ounce of his remaining strength. Each swing of his sword is driven by years of pain, love, and honor. Commodus, though younger and unhurt, begins to falter as Maximus's resolve overwhelms him. The crowd senses the truth, that the true emperor is the one bleeding for them, not the one hiding behind cruelty. Commodus loses his sword, begging for another, but Maximus refuses. In panic, Commodus pulls a hidden dagger and lunges. Maximus catches his arm, turns the blade, and drives it deep into Commodus's throat. The tyrant falls, choking on his own blood. The arena falls silent. Maximus, his body failing, drops his sword. He sees Lucilla running toward him, her eyes filled with tears. The senators gather around. He tells them that Commodus's reforms should be undone, that Rome should be returned to the people, and that his fellow gladiators should be freed. There was a dream that was Rome, he says weakly. It shall be realized. As he collapses, his mind drifts to a vision of peace, a golden field. Bathed in sunlight, his wife and son waiting for him at the gate of their home. He walks toward them, his face calm and free. His hand brushes the wheat, just as it did before the war, and the world fades away. Lucilla orders his body to be carried out as a soldier of Rome. Honor him, she tells the guards. He was a soldier of Rome. Give him what he deserves. The crowd bows their heads, some weeping, others whispering his name, Maximus, the savior of Rome. Juba, his loyal comrade, buries small figures of Maximus's wife and son in the sand, whispering, "Now we are free, my friend. I will see you again, but not yet." The dust of the Colosseum settles, and the legend of Maximus Decimus Meridius becomes eternal. The man who rose from the blood and dirt of the arena, defied a tyrant, and gave his life to restore honor to Rome. His story endures as a symbol of strength, loyalty, and the unbreakable spirit of a man who lost everything yet remained unyielding in his pursuit of justice. His courage becomes a whisper carried by the wind, echoing through eternity, the true voice of Rome.